Hi, I'm Elizabeth Lieberman. I'm originally from New York, but I live in Chicago with my husband. The way I ended up at Nishmat right now is I actually spent a year here doing Shana BaAretz 5 years ago. We now have 6 months between graduating college and starting our jobs. So my husband and I knew that before we go back to Chicago and we start a family and we get really settled, we want to take the time to get a even more solid foundation with Torah. I think it is very important. It is really different than a gap year because you're in a really different place and your learning is going to be in a really different place. And it's cool also at Nishmat because they do have the Shana BaAretz girls and they have the Alisa girls. You really get to kind of see, you get to see sort of like, oh yeah, I was 18, I was before college, and you get to see that and you can take as much of that as you want. Like I'm in some Shana BaAretz classes also, but I'm also in some Alisa classes, and that's like a really amazing, for me that's like a really amazing way to keep growing. I'd say one of the advantages of coming either during college or after college is you get to contrast the way that academic institutions are set up with the way Nishmat is set up. So academic institutions, it's kind of artificial in the sense that you have a very rigid schedule, but you don't actually have a lot of direction about what you're supposed to be doing. Whereas Nishmat is a lot more flexible, it's a lot more customized and a lot more customizable, but you also have guidance the whole way. So when you're in college, you kind of feel like you really know what you're doing maybe, but sometimes people really float around and you don't really have some sense of where you're going afterwards. But the things that you learn at Nishmat and the values you get and the experiences you have from interacting with the teachers, from being in Israel, from doing all the learning that you're doing, like those kinds of things that you're learning here, those kinds of values you're getting, you're going to bring them back wherever you go from here. Whether you stay, whether you go back to the States, any kind of job you do, any kind of family you raise, you're going to have that with you forever. And that's pretty amazing.